You get the pre-stream clicks when you tune in early. What it's all about. You're right, Mr. Chocolate. I'll be ready in about a minute. I could run downstairs and get my cup of tea. That would be nice. I'm gonna get my cup of tea. And people will be like, "It's son, what's that?" Be like, "It's a cup of tea, mate." But what's it in? Oh, my shill cup. In my shill cup, mate. I'm gonna talk about today, actually. Let's work that out at the beginning. Get a little. Oh my god! Like evolving. Right, I'm getting my tea. I'll be like back in maybe 1 minute 30, 2 minutes max. And we start this mother trucking stream. I've returned. Fucking make this stream happen. Bam. What button do I need to press? Definitely one of these. This one? Perfect. Hey! How is it going, people? Hope you're doing well. Did anyone want to talk about anything in particular in today's show? Because what I'll do is I'll add it to the list. At the moment, I've got sort of like the Concierge event, Alpha 3.7 and 3.8, the Nautilus Minelaying, anything else as major topics? The anger at Inside Star Citizen. Inside Star Citizen. Last episode was lame. Anything else? What kind of keyboard am I rocking? I'm rocking a Element Gaming mechanical, quite small keyboard. It is MX Cherry Red switches. I was thinking about getting a new keyboard, actually, the Logitech Gaming Pro one or something. It's a 10 keyless keyboard. And then I'd have... Well, the problem is I could obviously just plug this keyboard back in if I needed the numpad. But I want the extra space that a 10 keyless keyboard gives you. Basically, it's cut off the number pad. And then I could put my... well, any form of button controlling my Bob device. But I've got a Stream Deck, which is currently sitting next to me unused. And obviously I've also got various systems for Game Glass with. But there, I just knocked over everything that was on top of my PS4. But it's fine. It was Morse code. It tells you how to get free ships in Star Citizen. Only me and Chris Roberts know the secrets. A nurse came in and I just... What did he do? What happened? I'm not really much of a space trucker. I probably will do some space trucking. But this is my shill cup. You can tell it's a shill cup because it's the same ones they use in the office. Got this in one of my office tours. And all the time, it says Aegis. Not particularly focused. I mean, you should be happy that it's not really too focused on my face, to be honest. Do you think they will add quantum travel disruption mines? Oh, so they previously talked about one of the ways they were thinking about doing quantum interdiction, and it was to be able to drop a torpedo mine or missile type device that would then, like a beacon, that would then quantum interdict based on how it was programmed. So you could like make it quite an intense small bubble or quite a wide weak bubble, and then you'd want to sort of like configure it correctly so it was hard to detect, but got a wide enough net that you could capture someone, but not such a large net that they could instantly get away after being quantum interdicted. So yeah, it sounds like that's one of the ways they wanted to do quantum interdiction, and that or a module on a ship. Obviously at the moment it's a specific NPC ships are the quantum interdictors, but I suspect it will be a mixture of ship, module, and deployable. You ripping on my my disc? You ripping my discs in? You ripping on my desk? What's wrong with my desk? I was talking about something. So Zin, you'll notice that typically I'm at least 5 minutes behind in chat. Today only 2 minutes for some reason, which is madness. That's probably because I don't normally stream on a... Is it Wednesday? So hopefully after today I'll be back to my Monday, Friday streaming schedule, and we'll be streaming a lot more gameplay. I want to start streaming gameplay. We might stream some gameplay later today, like just run around the 890 jump or something, have a bit of a chat. Oh, do you think we could start a rumour that Star Citizen is going into an Epic Store exclusive? I'm going to do that for... I've got a bristle brush here. Brush my beard, mate. I'm going to do that for April Fool's probably. I mean, that spoilers, but I'll see how convincingly I can do it, and some people might have even forgot that I've said it. April Fool's for next year, we'll talk about Epic Store exclusives for Squadron 42 and Star Citizen, and we'll talk about them changing engine again, and I'll say that maybe I'm an Epic Store exclusive as well now. How viable will the Eclipse be in terms of expanded flights, or extended flights, you assume you mean, between groups? It's an older ship, but thinking about buying it once available. Most single-seater ships, like the Eclipse, are not going to be great for super long-distance quantum travel. So when I say super long distance, what I mean is if you are constantly moving between planets, if you're constantly moving from one side of a system to another, within the same planetary system, so around Crusader, yeah, easy, bam, 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 bam. Occasional travel from Crusader to Hurston or something like that, yeah, that's fine. But at the moment, traveling regularly between planets will take you like 15 minutes of time and be quite inefficient quantum fuel wise in a small ship. So it's sort of like, just bear that in mind. Once we have the sort of like carriers in place and other mechanics in place to be able to easily get your ship and you from one side of the system to another by paying a fee to have it, carried on a Kraken or some other carrier, then it'll be a lot easier and it'll be a lot more sort of like, yeah, this is super viable. That's it, Pod's a shill, knew it. I know, right? I'm such a cad. I believe you misspelt the word. Oh, no, probably shouldn't say that on stream. It will get demonetized immediately. What ships are coming out fully soon? So for the rest of this year, you've got a few ships that are planned for 3.7 end of September patch. You've got the Vanguard variants, the Harbinger and the Sentinel. I'm expecting them to also, potentially, and this is pulling out of my ass, but reasonably well informed ass, I suspect we will have the same sort of treatment that the 300 series saw with the Vanguards. So them being available on the website shop for customization. And then we've also got the Cutlass Red in 3.7 and the Banu Defender. Now, I'm suspecting the Banu Defender will not get pushed back again, and I'm expecting to see all those ships and potentially a straight-to-flyable ship as well, or vehicle. Because that's what CIG want to do now. They want to do straight-to-flyable ships and vehicles where possible, and it's going to be ones they probably want for Squadron 42 in the short term, or have got a lot further with than they expected. And I suspect there's going to be quite a few smaller vehicles as well in the game, and they're quite easy to do, just ground vehicles. What else? So for 3.8, we have the Asteroid Prowler. That's the one I think is more likely to get pushed back in 3.8. So 3.8 is the end of year patch, typically mid-December. Asteroid Prowler is a sort of like, kind of like a dropship, but it's quite stealthy. It's got the ability to have all its like doors open and shields up so that the ship doesn't depressurize, and then it's all about EVA, sort of like boarding ship that is really hard to detect. Suitable on the ground as well, and it's sort of like its ground wings, the kind of what I'm actually looking at, so like ground wings protect it, for what protects the crew.
Wow, that's about the amount of seconds of content in the last Star Citizen live. Slightly salty.
Oh, Hanathcom, thank you very much for the love. So, after talking to Zin and having some time to think about some of the content I want to do, I'm going to start to escalate and move some other stuff that I had planned forward. So that's going to be a lot of gameplay stuff, a lot of talking about stuff, a lot of general... So stuff like I do on my stream, but with actual gameplay is the idea. So we actually play while we chat, and a lot more of that. And I think that I want to get community together for that and have some other people working with me to be able to do stuff in game constantly. Because I think there's a lot of money to be made from content by content creators from Star Citizen and covering it, but also playing it. And that's what I want to start moving into now. And I think there's a lot to do there. But also maybe covering some of the bugs and things that I want fixed for the game as well. Maybe giving a voice to them. I don't want to overly abuse my platform for things that I reckon. Nor do I want it to be like, I'm a voice of the community. I am me. I report on the news. I have my own bias, but obviously I hopefully wear that reasonably obviously. I like Star Citizen as a project, and I like it as a game. I love the community, and yeah, I'm excited about it. But yeah, so 3.8 Prowler, Cutlass Blue. So the Cutlass Blue is the more armored militia variant of the Cutlass series. The Cutlass Red in 3.7 is the medical variant. Not sure if I said that. Kind of get myself sidetracked. I'm a bit spaced out still from my holiday. It was a holiday. It was fun, but it was board games, it was drinking, and it was eating. It's pretty holiday for me, and I liked it very much. But yeah, so also 3.8, the Carrack. That's probably the major ship this year that people are excited about. It's an exploration ship, but it's also sort of like this 6-crew, very compressed capital ship, almost Corvette-sized-ish. I'm very much looking forward to that. And then we've got the Hull C. The Hull C, very interesting in the fact that it's got cargo spindles that can compress and decompress, and then it can have lots and lots of cargo on it. I would expect to see the Hull A and Hull B pretty soon after the Hull C as well. That's what's coming out in the short to mid term for ships. Hope that was informative for you. Oh, what have I done? I've done this. Shite, thank you very much. Nautilus Flight Ready 3.7 or not. Instead of the mines hitting like a size 5 torp, they should hit like a size 6. Just saying, do you think we'll see server-side object container streaming at the end of the year? Thanks, bud. Thank you very much, Shite. I will answer your questions shortly. Hannah, thank you very much for the 27 months, by the way. I'm pretty sure I did say that, but I'll say it again. Domnak, thank you very much for the big Patreon donation. And Rayfighter, thank you very much for the Patreon. Oh, Raging Sage, thank you very much as well for the resub. Very much appreciated. Lots of resubs today. I'm actually getting somewhere with Twitch subscriptions, which I didn't think I would. There's the Popo outside. I can hear a police car moving around nearby. They're coming for me. They're coming for me for all those times I swore on stream. I don't know. But yeah, sorry. Let me answer your questions, seeing you paid me $10 to do so, Shite. Nautilus Flight Ready 3.7? Almost certainly not. I suspect we will see mines in-game first as part of missions before we see the Nautilus. The Nautilus at the Concierge event apparently it was sort of like quite far into its grey box phase, or just finishing its grey box phase. That's what it sounded like from people talking about the presentation there. It might be needed for Squadron 42 in some way, maybe. But mines are definitely needed for Squadron 42. I would expect to see the Nautilus probably middle of next year, but I don't know. We'll get some more stuff on the Q&A. They'll sort of like talk a bit more about how far it is but it's in production, as far as I'm aware. I don't know with the mine sort of like ordnance, size 5 over size 6. Don't know until it's balanced. Like they can have size 5 mines with incredibly powerful ordnance if they want to, and you've got to remember it's also for the turrets as well. It's not just the homing mine. So there's definitely balance they can do there to make size 5 mines effective enough for their sort of like the thing they're supposed to do. Do you think we'll see server-side object container streaming at the end of the year? Now, so I just released a video, but also we'll talk about it again. Chris Roberts was talking about this at the Concierge event. They are aiming to get server-side object container streaming out, if possible, in 3.8 by the end of this year. That is their goal, that is their aim. And they also are very aware that it might take a bit longer than that, and they might have to push it back to 2020. I'm assuming Q1 2020, but it will take as long as it takes. But there's a concerted effort to get it in 3.8 because there are dependencies that 3.8 has on server-side object container streaming, so that they are really genuinely trying to push that. I hope they do make it. I hope they get it in and they go, look, we actually got it in and it wasn't a dumpster fire. So it is more hope than anything else that will be in 3.8, but it is a possibility, and it's a reasonable possibility as well. How much more range does size 7 on the Nautilus opposed to guns on the Hammerhead DPS? So as far as I'm aware, sort of like size 2 weapons They're around 2,000, 2,300-ish meters range. Size 7 weapons are around 6.5 thousand meters, so quite a lot longer range. Obviously, this stuff will get heavily balanced, but the idea is they've got a huge operating range compared to smaller sized weapons. I think... So, overall, I believe that the Hammerhead has higher DPS. It's got a lot more guns. It's got a lot more traditional firepower. Obviously, the Nautilus has got a lot more sort of like alpha damage from a single source. I haven't actually done the numbers of how much damage difference that is. The Nautilus is significantly more tanky than the Hammerhead. It's referred to as being heavily armored, but it also has 3 large power plants and 2 large... 2 large power plants and 3 large shield generators. That makes it hugely tanky compared to the Hammerhead. It's obviously a bit bigger as well, so it's easier to hit target, probably easier to detect. Probably. But yeah, I mean, lots of stuff going on with that. If a Hammerhead comes into contact with the Nautilus can probably get away. If the Nautilus has set up a minefield for the Hammerhead and the Hammerhead's chasing it, then maybe the Nautilus can disable the Hammerhead enough to be able to keep it there where it destroys it. It's going to be interesting fights, that's all I'm saying. I don't think they're sort of the ships that beat each other traditionally in a fight. Although the Hammerhead, if you're scanning and you detect loads of its mines, you could probably take those mines out relatively easily with traditional firepower. There's lots of stuff, so what's in maybes and theory crafting there. So I'll have a little look at the DPS of the Nautilus compared to the Hammerhead. That's sort of like with its stock weapons and a reasonable range of weapons they use for it. But I suspect that the Hammerhead has a bit more DPS than the Nautilus from just traditional guns. But yeah, size 7 weapon. Got a long range, then you can use it as a support craft in a fight. So that you're laying mines as you're fighting, laying turrets as you're fighting, shooting from quite long range while you're fighting, and you're able to tank a reasonable amount of damage. Sounds like a cool ship to me. Not worth $675 though. It's certainly what I'll be getting in game. Unless someone wants to donate me a ridiculous amount of money, then I'll buy one. Hint, hint. No. When is 3.6.2 going public? It probably would go public, in my opinion. Well, I was expecting it by this weekend, but they haven't gone to a Wave 2 PTU yet, which is odd because I thought the 890 jump and the servers were pretty stable. Why not let ships with EMP generators be able to do interdictions? The EMPs are different from interdiction devices. They serve different purposes, and they sort of like need to rebalance EMPs as well. I can imagine that the sort of like utility slots that the EMP generators plug into, you could have an interdiction device in there instead. It's not Stealthy Tuner, is it? It's Abravor's Triggerfish. Thanks very much, Dalamars. Yeah, I'm so sorry. This is my Aegis shield pickup. Always nervous about smashing it. Like, I want all my cutlery Star Citizen themed. Can we sell our goods to other players in the future? Yes. Use both to sell ships, weapons, goods, vehicles, whatever. Is there any progress on the side economy? Yes. So, on the economy side, probably is what he meant, or what I meant to read on this side of the economy. So, they're doing like dynamic mission system stuff, starting it in 3.8, and that builds into the economy quite a lot. And we're going to start to see mixture of full persistence coming in and server-side object data streaming, but on the more focused economy side that actually is player-facing economy side, it's mostly in 3.9, so in Q1 2020 a lot of it's focused. So we've got commodity transfer timers with getting cargo from and to ships, so it's not sort of like magically teleported to your ship anymore. There's going to be accounting apps for your Moby Glass. I think they're trying to get multi-crew mission gameplay in between now and 3.9. There's going to be economy display terminals and a much sort of like more balanced economy. And economy display terminals, you'll be able to see in real time economy sort of like pricing. So that means it needs to be tracked in game, and then expect lots and lots and lots more economy stuff and cargo stuff coming in 3.9. So I'm not sure if you're going to be able to sell and buy vehicles to each other, but you will be able to rent very, very, very soon. And I suspect there will be the transfer of goods and items in the coming patches in some ways. I'm going to have weapons racks and that sort of stuff in 3.7 for the physical item system, so the physical item inventories. That's obviously an important part of the economy as well. So that sort of stuff is coming in, just in dribs and drabs before getting unified. When do we get to name our ships? It's something they've talked about. We know that we're going to have the ability to do that and customize our ships more fully. I suspect it will be the same time that we get the after market customization systems in game. Obviously, we've got the website customization system now. We've got the ability to purchase components in game and put them on our ships, but we need the ability to put decals on, change our ship's colors, and get names on our ships as well. And that is coming. I'll fiddle around with my thingamajigs, my audio. Beep, 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 beep. I've lost the ability to use words. I don't know why. Do you think Microtech will get pushed from 3.8? Potentially. If server-side object container streaming is not ready, then almost certainly. What content do you think will get pushed from this year? It would be Microtech and its moons. If server-side object container streaming isn't ready, or if they haven't got other systems in place to allow for it. Because it's possible that they'd get a load of other optimizations on if server-side object container streaming isn't in properly. But that's the only thing I can imagine that will get pushed this year, or the only thing I'm expecting to get pushed this year. Favorite board game you played on holiday? Favorite board game of all time? Favorite board game of all time? Quite like the Sherlock Holmes consulting detective games. They're pretty good. Might be one of my favourite games of all time. Maybe. We played a load of Betrayal Legacy while I was on holiday. Like, more of it than potentially I wanted to. But it's a really fucking good game. It's probably the game I enjoyed the most when we were playing it there. Board game-wise, anyway. It was pretty good. There's quite a lot of board games I quite enjoy. That's the thing. And I'll happily play new ones. You think we'll see the Nautilus added to the game by the end of the year? No, I think we'll see it middle of next year. Apparently it was sort of like towards the end of its grey box, or maybe just coming out of grey box. Sort of like, that's what people from the Concierge event sort of implied. I know, I've kept all my my special substances in my boots, Plimo. Don't you worry. No one got gifted huge Legatus packs or anything at the Concierge event. That would be upsetting, wouldn't it? It'd be like, oh, I wish I'd gone. I've got a $20 billion ship. Has anything more been said about the Polaris? Nope. Anything in relation to the new mine layer? With the Polaris, or just in the Nautilus in general? Nautilus, they talked about it that a huge amount. Obviously at the Concierge event. Polaris, I will be asking questions about the Polaris when I next am able to. So I'm hoping to have an office tour at some point this year. Hopefully sooner rather than later. Obviously we've got CitizenCon in the UK, and I'm going down a day early to be able to ask questions and stuff like that as well. So I'm going to start to compile a bit of a list. But with the... Bring up some of that. Oh, no. Bring up some of the Nautilus stuff. So, Nautilus is a bit bigger than Hammerhead, but it's also got like an extra deck effectively as well. So when it comes to the full size, including its height, it's quite a bit bigger. It's caters for 4 to 8 people. It looks like it can carry 24 mines. It's got the homing mines, which have little thrusters on and can track targets within their range, and they're like size 5 torpedoes, effectively, ordnance-wise, and they are proximity detonators. And we've got the defensive, like, turret mines as well, sentry turret mines, which have 2, size 2 weapons on them. I think that's pretty cool. Cool little mines you can drop around. Is it 2 size 2s on those sentry mines? I think it was 2 size 2s. Let me bring it up on my screen. I can hear someone smashing something outside my house. This up on the screen for you. 2 size 2 hardpoints. Yeah, it's 2 size 2s. And apparently they're highly accurate, and there's offensive screen examples, and I suspect there'll be ways to use the ship more offensively, rather than just writing "fuck you" on it. What else have we got? Got 3 major decks. It's really tanky as a ship. There's going to be mines in Squadron 42. I've got a lot more information on it, actually. I grabbed from the Concierge event and from some other people's documentation. Size 7 guns have got extremely long range, over 6,500 6,500 meters. Ship is referred to as heavily armored. Some of the turrets on the Nautilus should be able to have AI modules in for auto turrets. The interior is extremely similar to that of the Hammerhead from what was shown there. The Nautilus can have 2 Nemo drones out and deployed from it. There might be other mines in the future beyond the homing mines and the turret mines. Mines require maintenance from time to time. You can't just have them there forever. They do require you to go back and check on them. Yeah. The ship will fit on large landing pads, which are smaller than the 890 Jump's giant landing pad. Why did I click on game? Who knows? Why did I click on that? Who knows again? Do you think the tally is worth picking up? So the Retaliator. Have they talked about reworking aspects of it at all? No, I would expect it to get a light rework, just to get it in line with some stuff, especially for the modularity they've got planned for the future, but nothing hugely heavy. I'm not sure if it's worth picking up or not. It's the sort of thing that I'd get in game. Anything that you think that you would use the sentence to and ask someone else's opinion of, do you think I should get it? I would go, probably no, because it's a spaceship purchase in a game. Spend your money on your rig or something like that and get it in-game. That's mostly my advice. Bored, thanks for all the videos. 2 questions. Do you think the 890 has less rooms? Has 2 less rooms, only 5? What? Any news on the Taurus? Has the... What? I'm so confused what you mean. The 890 Jump's supposed to have 68 rooms or something, but I'm assuming that each individual cubicle in a bathroom is counted. I think the 890 Jump is a cool ship, but it is very sort of, you know, luxury for luxury's sake, and there's not a huge amount of gameplay tied to some of its features at the moment, or planned features for the future. But hopefully there'll be cool AI that can do, you know, they've got the social bartenders that they've been working on for a while, but also they have to have people walking around the ship serving food and things like that, and hopefully gameplay and money-making potential tied to that. I love VIP missions where you've got to look after guests while you take them on a cruise. Any news on the Taurus? Beyond that it's planned for, was it 3.9 now? Nothing really. Yeah, 3.9, so Q1 2020. Nothing beyond that. What do you think the player cap will be with server-side object container streaming? 200 per instance, 1,000. I think you'll potentially see like 100 per instance, like max. I don't think it's actually going to hugely affect what they can do player cap wise, but I do think they'll probably start testing it with 100 and it might work well. It's server meshing, which is the big cap breaker, and that could then have thousands of players on a server, and then dynamic server-side object container streaming could allow for potentially all players on a server at once, although it's much more likely to be broken up like that, and there's going to be almost certainly going to be bottlenecks, but there's a huge amount of potential to that tech. Will a Nautilus win against a giant sandworm, or will the pilot scream as he slides down its throat? Why was he flying so close to a sandworm's mouth? It'd be interesting to see if you can get alien creatures attacking ships. Like the giant sandworm, I suppose. I mean, we saw it eat a hoverbike back in, 2016? What patch do you think we'll see AI commerce, physicalized ships coming and going? We've actually seen it, at least, well, semi-faked over a few patches, and I saw it potentially in the last PTU. I'm not sure exactly when that was. I'm not sure. Hopefully it wasn't in the Vicardi phase. But they've got the tech there to be able to have ships spawn in, come along, sit down, and then bugger off. When we start to see the dynamic mission system and some of that generation there, probably with 3.9, where they're talking about some of the more economy generated and quantum travel created sides of that mission system, they probably would need to have ships coming and going to make the universe more believable on planets, but it's whenever they want to add it in. They've got the tech to have it in now. It would be faked. It wouldn't be an actual ship that's going from point A to point B. It doesn't need to be at this stage. Large shield so it can brute force remove mines by ramming them. It's going to be interesting because will mines float through shields before detonating? You know what I mean? Can you place an armor mines in someone's cargo bay? These are the sort of questions I want answered. All the content you've created and all the people that play Star Citizen, why do you think you only have 126,000 subs? Oh, I mean, that hurts. That cuts deep. I don't know. Maybe people don't like my content? I don't know. It's not really about subscribers anymore. It's about views, really. And your question should be, why do I only get 20 to 30k views per video? That would be more appropriate. Hopefully my channel will grow and continue to grow, but I'm quite happy with its progress so far. I mean, 186,000 is a lot, but you deserve so much more. Thank you very much, Baduka. Baduku. However you pronounce your name. I appreciate the backhanded love. Do you think with persistence, CIG will limit the number of objects in game? Example, vending machines won't dispense cans, but a certain number of cans will be spawned around vending machines. I think that they need full persistence in with server-side object container streaming so that objects can be loaded and unloaded at will, but also they can save the sort of importance of objects. So some things need to degrade over a certain period of time. They can't have infinite entities, and just eventually you'd have a planet's surface covered in bullet shells. You know what I mean? So shrapnel and things like that need to despawn after a certain amount of time, and then based on how important something is, you get up to like the level of importance of a ship. That just stays there for potentially months, and if no one goes there for months and months and months, then it's permanently despawned. Thank you very much for the love and the content. Thanks for all the content. Malcolmi. I can't do names. Just have a simple name. Just to have a number. Thank you very much for the bits, though. Very much appreciated, bro. Love your face. Oh, you star. And thank you very much, Dalamars. I'm already said thank you, but I'll thank you again. Do you think the massive gas giant Crusader is much further along the microtech? I think it's a lot simpler. I think it was reliant on some tech, but they can build a gas giant, bam, because you're not going to be landing on the surface. They just need layers of cloud, and then when you get too far into the cloud, you get killed or destroyed or whatever. So they can have the landing zone there is probably reasonably easy for them to do as far as hero landing zones go. But they don't need to do a whole planet, and they don't need to procedure generate a huge amount of content for the gas giant. They can just have mission spawns and potentially some mineable gas clouds and some other little points of interest and some derelicts around Crusader, but they don't have to do as much as they would with planet microtech. Been streaming WoW Classic as where the views are this week. I've been playing a little bit of WoW Classic. I've got level 12 or something with my warrior. Not sure if I'm into being a warrior though. Like, I kind of want to be a warlock or a rogue. Leveling as a warrior is sort of like solo is hard. I posed this question on a recent video, but there was comments made by some of those who went to the event saying the Redeemer was back in production. Thoughts? Okay, so we know that the Redeemer is sort of like being looked at. This is the last I heard. I didn't realise that some of the Concierge people had actually knew it was back in production. They hadn't confirmed what manufacturer it was going to be. It was the last thing I heard. My name is Malcolm, with an Malcolm I. Malcolm I. Sorry, I will change to something like Snapja Killer. Snapja Killer 66. What? But no worries, thanks for the bits though, Malcolm. You look good today, Thomas Smith. I'll take your knock. Was it Danish Corona or something? Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. We know that it's a bold-faced lie, but I do love you. I'm looking forward to the Redeemer though. It's a focused gunship now. Just we don't know much more about it. With resistance, will my victims fed to my giant sandworms suffer for extended periods of time? I don't think so. I doubt there's going to be missions related to getting out of the stomach of a sandworm. Maybe if you pester CIG enough about it, get a little sandworm missions, please. Make them watch Tremors and Dune. Did anyone ask when RSI stop focusing on ships and work on actual game that matters and serviceability? Ah, the question of the ages. I mean, that's a question for people that work on the ships. There's only like 25 of them. Board, I had server-side object container streaming was ready and tested, and it will take some time to get it implemented in all the in-game systems. Others tell me that it's not ready. What do you think? Well, I know it's been tested internally, and they've been testing it and working on it. It's certainly not ready. It needs to be integrated into the game to be ready. So they've done some work with it. It's looking promising. They could get it in by the end of this year. What's the status of multifunction displays and HUDs as far as moving away from Flash and getting a full rework? Yeah, so they're using their new HUD building systems and MFD building systems. We know that's something that they want to get in for, obviously, Squadron 42, and I would expect to see a lot more HUD work between now and the end of the year. So expect to see some cool looking HUDs and MFDs, like more reworked for end of this year, beginning of next year. The Gladius has obviously got the test of one of those new HUDs. When are we supposed to have actual persistence? They wanted to get full persistence in with server-side object container streaming, which was potentially going to be in for 3.8. That's going to be full persistence light, and we know it is. There's going to be problems with it. There's still going to be server resets, almost certainly. But once they have that all fixed and in, they don't need to reset the servers so much. So we might start to see much more in the way of people playing the game and better progression and that sort of stuff without constant resets. And we don't know when they're going to have the final reset still. So do you think the Carrack will get pushed back like with the 890 jump, or do you think it will come out with it 3.8 hits? Sorry, I'm having a problem speaking. Yeah, I think we could see it with 3.8. I think it's something that's so desperately wanted, and they've been working on the Carrack for a long time. The Anvil pipeline's reasonably strong. I think it could certainly be in 3.8. People making assets have no idea how to write physics code. I promise you that. Yeah, it's different skill sets, different jobs, different roles. People that are making ships aren't the people that are writing the network code. Do you think that the Nautilus will be able to drop sensors as mines as well? I think that there are supposed to be beacons in the future that you can drop. That will be able to be like travelable locations for you and people that you share them with. I'm not sure if that's going to be a function of every ship with the appropriate sort of like, maybe you can just chuck them out of cargo bays, maybe they have to be deployed from missile hardpoints. Potentially there could be other mines and other deployables from the Nautilus and other ships as well, yeah. Lone Wolf gameplay for the Nautilus? I mean, a lot of people suggested that it was Lone Wolfy. As in it could work away from a fleet, but also support a fleet. Yeah, I think you'll probably... based on how AI modules work and the computers work on the Nautilus, you may well be able to put AI modules in there and run it as a single pilot, potentially. Other than that, just get NPC crew. Why does the Nautilus need to be so huge? How big are these mines? Probably pretty big. I think it's got like 24 on, and it's got drone bays and the ability to refit mines that it's, or diffuse mines, and then get them ready for being redeployed by your ship. There's quite a bit going on with that. Drones, mines, effectively a little mini factory, production line. Have they fixed hover mode? 3.7. They are planning to do some changes to hover mode. So we're going to see ships flying less like helicopters and much more auto-stabilization features. So less sort of like pitching and going mental. And the closer you are to the ground, the more precisely you will move. Some ships will fly a little bit like helicopters, apparently, still potentially. But I think it will be much better. That's sort of what I want. The closer you are to the ground, the slower you go. And then when you're just hovering, it takes a while to get back up to speed. That's sort of all I want for hover mode. I don't want I fly like a helicopter. I'm not a helicopter! I'm a spaceship. Do you think CIG will allow players to create unofficial rental companies for ships? Yeah, I think people will be able to rent ships out. Loan people ships and things. I want to see a very robust contract system. Hey, Bored, I'm going to try walking right now, but I can bring my tablet and I'll be watching. I love your undying positive attitude. Is it positive? I think I'm relatively realistic. I mean, what it is that I know, for the most part, Star Citizen might have some components when the game is finished that I dislike. But I think there'll be quite a lot in there that I do love. And I'm looking forward to it. There's been a load of shit games over the last 5 years I have not enjoyed. And some other games that I have enjoyed that have been very, very briefly enjoyed by me and then just done with. And I think Star Citizen, I mean, I love it already, so I think Star Citizen is going to be genuinely great. But I mean, it doesn't mean I can't criticize it and say how I feel about certain elements of it. Yeah. But I appreciate the love, J-Bud. And good luck with walking. I hope you fucking do get better, bro. All I want right now would be internal security and locking certain doors, especially for the 890, So no one shoots the pilot, and we're out of the armistice saying, yeah, I know what you mean. They are putting some better security and permission systems in for 3.8, I believe. I'm not sure when we'll get full ship security systems. And that sort of stuff. But it could potentially be from 3.8 onwards. Don't you think they should have rewarded those who want the Concierge event with a Nautilus rather than presenting them a new ship for more cash than people paid to the event? Skymage. Yes, I do think they should have given anyone that turned up a Nautilus. I actually do. There was comments made by some of those that went to Concierge event. Talked about that. When does 3. Oh, there's a motorbike going past. When does 3.7 come out? It's planned to come out at the end of September. Dev teams, and graphics teams, and physics teams, and designers are all separate. You cannot stick a designer on AI. You cannot stick a physics programmer on graphics. When you can, you're not going to get very far. Also, I mean, not all of the CIG employees are directly focused on the game. Some of them are sort of like office management staff, receptionists, janitors. Think of server-side object container streaming as Spotify, streaming individual songs from your saved playlist to your phone, one at a time, rather than holding every song in the world's music universe in memory 24/7. I suppose that's a reasonably good way of describing it. Object container streaming in general, really. In the next update, will the devs... So really, Glenn, a better way of saying that would be, but it can then pause a song and then load another song, but when you go back to the song that you originally paused, it would know where that song was, where you would listen up to it. That's what server-side object container streaming allows. It allows for the seamless transfer and saving of data, loading and unloading that back in at its saved state. Specifically at its saved state. In the next update, will devs do an event where the Teletubbies invade the system and place naan bread, Tubby toast, my naan bread, and Shrek's cheesy fries on the planet? I don't think so. But if you asked someone, they'd probably go, maybe. Star Citizen Leaks had stated that the Redeemer was back in production and stayed Aegis. I hadn't heard that from any source that I had, but Star Citizen Leaks is pretty good, so I would trust them. Cool, it makes sense that it stayed Aegis as well. That will be done a lot quicker. If it stays Aegis, their pipeline's probably the most efficient. Do you think there will be meaningful stuff to find if exploring in this game? Yes, I think exploring is going to be a huge part of the game. I think it's going to be connected to science, but you're going to be tracking down points of interest. You're going to be tracking down asteroid fields and lucrative money-making opportunities like that. Potentially there'll be missions where you have to find species and plants, and lots of scanning down of points of interest is what I actually expect exploration to be. But there might be wormholes that take you to other systems. There might be same system wormholes that, jump points that take you smaller distances and things like that. How many size 9 torpedoes does it take to pop an 890 jump? We have yet to kill one. I don't actually know how tough the 890 jump is at the moment. I think probably not as... At the moment, it's going to be very, very, very weak compared to what it should be, toughness-wise. There'll like be holes in its shield, and it will get destroyed in a few sort of like shots in certain places. That's very likely. They need to balance it. I'm hoping that Inside Star Citizen will be good tomorrow. Apparently there is a video, whether it's Inside Star Citizen or another video, that we'll very much enjoy coming out this week or next week. Will the Vanguard be able to carry cargo? Vaguely remember there being... I don't think it's able to lock cargo down in any of them. How will the Nautilus mines work in gravity? I believe they can't work in gravity. They will just get destroyed, pulled in, crash, effectively. The Nautilus mines do have little tiny thrusters, but they are not strong enough to work against gravity. I'm quite a few minutes behind at the moment, so apologies for that, for anyone that is desperately wanting me to answer a question. When do you think we'll see the new artwork for the Cutlass Red? The website is woefully out of date. Yes, it is. The website's not particularly great either. It's out of date and not great. I would expect to see it closer to 3.7, so a couple of weeks, maybe, we'll start to see it. Maybe we could see it this week. Fuck it, why not? Buy the expensive ships in game. When do I have the possibility to ride my bike? What? When do I have the possibility to ride my bike is sold in game instead of that buggy thing? What? I'm not sure what you mean. What are your thoughts or expectations for weather in Star Citizen? Rain, lightning, storms, clouds? Probably quite basic. Weather to start with, snow, rain, that sort of stuff. But yeah, sandstorms, lots of different wind types, I suppose. Pretty basic stuff. Yeah, probably lightning storms, some cool stuff like that. Will prices increase as the game reaches live or stay the same thing? In game, so as the game gets closer to live, ships outside of game are likely to get more expensive. Once the game goes live, ships in game, depending on what they are likely to vary. There's going to be a dynamic economy, which is going to be heavily affected by what's available in the economy at the moment, supply and demand, and all that sort of jazz. Do you think Titan suits will be useful in space for things like combat? No, I don't think they're like a Gundam. They were described as being sort of like a cross between an exosuit power, sort of like Iron Man exosuit, and a powerlifter. Boop, 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 boop. Or drink. Thank you very much for the sub, Brian. Boop, 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 boop. But I don't think they can fly. I don't think they have the ability to EVA. Maybe they have light EVA capabilities. I haven't really thought about it. I always thought they were going to be locked to the ground, and that was going to be one of the sort of like downsides of the suits. Do you think they put Idrises in game when they're complete for testing before Star Citizen release? Before Star Citizen release, yes. Before Squadron 42 release, Instead of complaining about CIG teams that are producing quickly, people should focus concern on CIG teams that are falling behind. Why should fast producers slow down or stop? Does the arrow fit in the back of the Freelancer Max with its gear down? I haven't tried, but I would not expect so, no. How big is Star Citizen's download size? 38 gigs at the moment, I believe. Doesn't full persistence mean abandoned ships stay there until salvaged or blown up? So, sort of. It means they should stay there for a very long period of time. I don't expect anything in-game will have an infinite clock on it. So there's no way that they'd have to have a clean-up period of some time. If no one has visited that area for 3 months, it gets deleted. It gets absorbed back into the simulation or whatever. World of Warships still sells new warships every month or so. Star Citizen will also sell new ships. It's the most successful source of income for them. That is true, but only at the moment. Game sales for Squadron 42 will probably catapult them up into that's the most profitable thing. And then when Star Citizen gets more of a, well, for persistence, more of a release, something that's a bit more tangible, I suspect it will be microtransactions selling in-game currency and ships. Wait, we'll be able to have NPC crews? Yes. The plan is to have NPC crews that you can hire, and then they can pilot your ships with you. And they don't want everything to be too remote, though. They don't want you to have like a giant fleet all crewed by NPC crews. They want you to be able to like crew a ship, like a big ship with an NPC crew, or have like one wingman or a couple of wingmen with it. I think that they want to avoid having thousands of ships by one player, all then crewed by NPCs. Probably asked every 5 minutes, but that's absolutely fine. Feel free to ask. What's the current goal for server meshing? Can't see it on the roadmap. So server-side object container streaming is coming first, which is currently optimistically planned for 3.8, although they are aware that it may slip into next year. That is a prerequisite of then static server meshing. Static server meshing is planned to be in the game for the end of next year, and static server meshing then leads them on to dynamic server meshing. So we've got server-side object container streaming. That allows them to stand by areas of a server and save the state of that part of that server where there's no one and no players, and then load that back in seamlessly when a player turns up or it comes there, and then unload any other parts that aren't populated. So it's fantastic for them. It saves the states, loads it back in as it was or as it now is. They can do calculations and stuff on it, or they can save it into like a very basic simulation state or whatever. Then that leads on to server meshing, static server meshing, which is basically a single server, which is currently looking after the whole star system. The whole star system is currently being looked after by a single server in the current tech. That then gets broken down into specific locations are handled by a server, and they seamlessly share data between each other. So you'd have each of the planets on a single server. You'd have each of the major areas of space on a single server. Bam, nice. So you can have a lot more players in. You have hundreds, if not thousands, of players in a single server. Then you've got dynamic server meshing, which is the sort of like final stage, but obviously it's going to be hugely optimized after it gets implemented. But dynamic server meshing is each individual room can be assigned a server and deassigned a server, based on the population of that room. And that, it can be a room, it can be a planet, it can be a ship, it can be a whole star system. We go, oh, we need one server for this star system. Now we need 500 servers for this star system and one for this particular room. It's all nested, and but that's the rundown of object container streaming, server meshing. When are they going to put in manual hover mode? I suspect that 3.7 will have that functionality if it's ready, and we know that there's going to be a load of changes to hover mode in 3.7, including less helicopteriness and more precision as you get closer to the ground, and more auto-stabilization. When are they going to put in a manual switch for hover mode? I suspect in 3.7. They said that manual toggle was something they were working on a while ago. I would expect that for 3.7. What do you think Chris Roberts' favourite item from Greg's Bakers is? Probably a steak bake. I will ask him though. Who's Chris Roberts and who's Jared? So Chris Roberts is the chairman of CIG. He's the original visionary and conceiver of Star Citizen and Squadron 42. He's the man in charge. Jared, also known as Disco Lando, is the gentleman who's in charge of CIG and Star Citizen's video content and sort of like subscriber perks. Subscribers are voluntary donators that donate every month. Oh, subscriptions are voluntary. They don't give you... We have these voluntary subscription things that gives you like little perks and inside information and magazines and stuff. And Jared deals with perks that go along with that and how that money's spent on video production. And sort of like the Inside Star Citizen and Star Citizen Live and stuff, that is all supported by that money rather than other development money. However, last week, for example, people were very upset with Inside Star Citizen because it was just focused on one topic, a very short topic, about like 8 minutes, which was QA. And we'd already seen quite a lot of QA, and QA that was didn't show us anything new that we didn't know, really. So it was just sort of like a big letdown on their like premiere news show. QA, they're awesome people. They are obviously incredibly important to the games, but it was just a bit of a boring episode, and it was sort of like, oh, is there going to be something cool? There's nothing cool on this one. It's just the one little topic. Pretty short. Doesn't feel like they spent that money well enough that they're getting. They're getting like up to 3 million a year from subscribers, so it's a lot of money. I've been alright, Dallin. I got back on Monday very late at night from my holiday. I'm still a bit shattered from that. I had a good time away. It was a little bit stressful at some points, but it's a good laugh. It was a good laugh. Played lots of board games, played lots of computer games. I mean, you could get a small server increase, like up to 100 people, I think, with server-side object container streaming coming in. I think that's the sort of thing they'll start testing stuff. I may well buy a better camera. I will very much consider getting a better webcam / camera for recording streams. I don't think we're going to see nuclear weapons in the game. Sort of like specifically avoided that. What new ships or Titan suits do you think we have on sale at CitizenCon? We could see the Redeemer going on sale now that's been sort of like reconfirmed as being Aegis. I would expect to see something like that. Some Squadron 42 stuff. Titan suits are a good one for CitizenCon. Maybe a medium mining ship, medium salvage ship. Quite a lot we could get at CitizenCon when it comes to ships and vehicles. We'll definitely see some straight to flyable / drivable stuff as well. Big fan from India. Thank you very much. Ashish. I'm stealing a car outside my house. When do we get Ranger bikes in game? I wouldn't expect them too late. I mean, we could even potentially get them by the end of this year if someone's already working on them. I'm not sure for... they're very small and they're very simple for them to do. They already have the Tumble Cyclones, which are ground-based vehicles. But yes, I would expect the Ranger bikes in relatively soon. So, like, I think they're pretty easy for them to do. You could get them in by the end of this year. I think that your Star Citizen will be in a playable and fun state before you die, Ted. Don't you worry. Looking forward to Pillar Talk this Friday. Is it Pillar Talk that's going to happen this Friday? Yes, I am looking forward to that. Do you think we'll see a bigger update on the roadmap after? I fucking hope so. Jetpacks ever? We've got EVA packs, which are very sort of like jetpack and light. We might see some ways of surviving from ejecting in atmosphere in the future. They could be parachutes, they could be sort of like jump packs. I say jump packs rather than jetpacks because I think a jump pack just helps you fall and survive the fall with impact rather than allowing you to move around the planet's surface very easily. But there's obviously the potential of having jetpacks eventually. Nothing in the short to mid-term though. When do you expect to see wildlife like birds, and crocs and bears out on our adventures? I suspect them to be working on that currently now. I'd hope to see some of that at CitizenCon. I'm not sure when it would be in the game. When is the Orion coming out? Probably not for a while. The ship is fucking massive. When are they planning to keep player save data so no user data wipes? Potentially after server-side object container streaming and full persistence is in. I wouldn't expect anything more discussed about that until 3.9 though, so Q1 2020 is probably when they'll have a bit more information on that for us, and that's when that sort of tech should be in their buy, and potentially where they can go. We don't actually need to wipe anymore, but we're probably going to test stuff and occasionally have wipes, and then when they move on to UEC from Alpha UEC as currency, that's probably when they'll go, no more resets. Full stop. Any infos about the character? Nope, not beyond what we've already known for the last few months. Opinion on new classes of vehicles. Ancient class like old jet-propelled planes or gas and diesel cars for recreational use for rich players to spend on. I don't know. I mean, that's the sort of stuff they might put in the game eventually. Like after release, they might have some silly stuff. Yeah. I suspect there will be more civilian vehicles and civilian space transport as well. What ship will we see at CitizenCon from Anvil? Cap ship? What role do you think it will have? Yeah, so that's a good question, James. So the event is supposed to be sponsored by Anvil, so we'll almost certainly see an Anvil straight-to-flyable / drivable ship vehicle. I don't know. I don't know yet. I'll have to dig deep and have a think. Will there be a 3.6.x build working with bounties? I don't know. I'm hoping so. I'm hoping for the 3.6.2 build they're about to release to live. I'm hoping they get bounty missions and combat missions working properly. And cargo not falling through the floors of ships. Where do you think this year's Game Expo will be held? Area 18. Almost sure of that. Has there been any news, more news regarding the Facebook camera? I think there were some problems with that and the Crytek lawsuit, preventing them doing some bits and bobs, maybe. That's just a sort of like personal feeling with that. I suspect we'll see more of it, and potentially even being properly unveiled at CitizenCon this year. Is the goodie pack worth the money? It's $15 for some stuff. I mean, if you've got the spare cash and you'll really want it, then maybe. Let me show you. We've got the digital goodies pack. It's $15. It says 18 here because I have to pay VAT. Includes an in-game full armor set, in-game plushie, in-game decorative telescope, and CitizenCon trophy. $15 for a load of random flare items. For some people, that's going to be totally affordable. Then like, yeah, that's cool. And other people, if you're like, should I get it? Then don't get it. That's my opinion. Like 9 months or so to get the CitizenCon flare into our hangars from last year. It's only just turned up. What would your recommendation for a light fighter to invest in? It depends on the spectrum where you're going. Either the Avenger Titan or the Anvil Arrow. One of those two. Anvil Arrow if you've got the money and you just want to focus on being a light fighter. Tell me about the UK. You guys are democratic with a prime minister or elected president or what? We've got a prime minister. We are one of a democratic country. Our prime minister is about to prorogue parliament, which is an interesting choice. To make everyone very angry. When are they going to do something about the darn hovering? I mean, parking your ship is been gone. And art without destroying it, or do so damage. What? They are doing some updates to hover mode for 3.7, so end of September. ABG, Swissbacker here. I stopped playing the alpha because every time I try, the buggy missions and gameplay get me mad. Question, don't you agree CIG should consolidate and polish, not add ships? So they need to work towards getting a finished game. The game is an alpha at the moment. They can add ships and work towards getting all the features in. They're not mutually exclusive. They have teams specifically there to make ships. As simple as that. And they've got like 25 people that were dedicated 100% work on ships. And there's a lot of other people. Well, there's also other people that touch on ships and stuff, obviously like lighting and stuff, and coding and things. But there's a huge amount of other people that work on Squadron 42 and cinematics and code for the game and AI and all that sort of jazz. So they're not mutually exclusive. The false equivalence. When will stars be physicalized? Do you think there will only be a certain ship that can get close, like Mercury to the sun? If you get within 20 million kilometers, you just overheat and die. I'm not sure what they're going to do with physicalization of stars. I know we're going to have planets and the orbit and moons that orbit planets. So I know they've got the sort of like quantum splines planned for that, so that it works out where the planet's going to be, or follows it as it move when you're in quantum. Should we be worried about server-side object container streaming coming out late? No, just be aware that it might be in 3.8 or it might be in 3.9. Nothing to worry about, it's just a brute fact. Be ready when it's ready. I liked them adding takedowns like Far Cry, was wondering if they might take more inspiration from that. I don't know. Wingsuits or at least parachutes. Wingsuits and parachutes are both possibilities. I think more likely it's going to be either parachutes, jump seats, or potentially jump packs. Question, do you want to go halves on a room at the Hilton for CitizenCon? I would have potentially considered that, Salto. I've already got a hotel booked pretty close to the event. And I was even considering cancelling that because one of my mates, Harvey, wants me to go to their Airbnb. So it's got complicated already. Future events, feel free to poke me, hit me up. As long as you're not planning to fucking eat me, we're all good. Hi Board, is there actually stuff to harvest? Because in the roadmap it says it's been released, but I can't find any. No, so they've released some underlying tech for harvestable entity spawning. So that is sort of like the way it spawns mining nodes, like the minables that the prospector can mine. But it spawns them in clusters and that sort of stuff, and in appropriate locations. There will be harvestable bushes and plants and like dung piles and things like that in the future as well. That's sort of part of the same system. Loot spawning, but mineable nodes spawning. Interdiction corvettes, frigates, dreadnought? Maybe. We're not 100% sure how interdiction is going to work in the future. Would expect to see a large range of ships, though, and a lot of ships be able to use that system. How's the hull class going to be able to pick up cargo from a planet side and then trade to shipping points? How do you foresee them working in game? So we're going to have the ability to ship to station dock with the large cargo ships, especially when they're laden. They literally just go up to a cargo port, a cargo station, and do their business there. They don't need to go down to planet side. That's the idea for the cargo stations. And that's the idea for the ship to station docking as well. Are you bracing yourself for disappointment from Pillar Talk this week? No, I mean, it is what it is, isn't it? It's either going to be good, or it's not, or it's going to be somewhere in between. I'll discern what information's there and relay it. It's not about disappointment or excitement for me, typically. I am looking forward to 3.7. But I just want all the missions to be fixed and Star Citizen to be as playable as possible. Do you think the tuning workbench is still a thing? Yeah, I think it will still be a thing eventually. Any news on the 600i rework? It's not getting like a huge rework or anything, but they're going to be updating some of it after they finish the 890 jump. When is the game full ready, or will it ever be? Squadron 42, episode 1 looks like it potentially could be out at the end of 2020. That's a possibility at the very least. So relatively soon for Squadron 42 episode 1, which is the single player campaign. Star Citizen, it's a good few years yet before it's going to be fully ready. And then even after it's fully ready, or like a on the shelf release, they're still going to keep on working on it like any MMO for years. With all the props coming in the game now, with HAB and personal accommodation coming in the future, when do you think we'll start seeing more RP stuff, like reading newspaper or playing pool, or eating pastries? So there's a lot of random stuff going on there. With motion captions and animations, they do have their own mocap studio now, like in-house. They can do a lot of that stuff with, and they can just do it with random people. They don't need proper actors or anything. Well, they need people that understand mocap, but they don't need like AAA actors, is what I'm saying. And A-class actors. I mean, we're going to start to see in 3.9 even diegetic, dynamic consoles and updates to like economy information in game. And I would expect to start to see things that are happening in the verse, and then when they build that properly into the mission dynamic mission system, I would then start to expect to see more and more media in the game that reflects what's going on at the time in the game. Can you quantum jump through a star like in 90s ultra cheese movies Lost in Space? I hope not. Amir M. Hey mate, I love your work. Unfortunately, I have a personal feeling that you're defending CIG instead of being the voice of the community and your supporters. Any reason for that? Well, number one, I'm not the voice of my community or my supporters. I'm the voice of me. I'd never try and represent someone else's opinion that I have no idea what their opinion would be. And also, I don't feel I overly defend CIG. I love Star Citizen, I love the project, I love the community, love the idea of it. I don't think I'm overly defensive of them at all. I think I criticise them when I think I should criticise them. I do think that last week's Inside Star Citizen was pretty lame. I'm not saying that the QA people are lame. I think they're fucking awesome. I think they're really important. And I always think I've been reasonably, reasonable in the middle. I just don't get ragey. I don't go to clickbait. Well, I'm going to be angry about something. And I can't feign being angry or annoyed at stuff that I'm not. I'm pretty chill and pretty relaxed about stuff. I know that things, for the most part, will get fixed after time. CIG seem to be pretty responsive to the community. Things that they get wrong, and there will be things that they get wrong, they fix. It's as simple as that. It's not about defending them, it's just sort of like, pretty chill about it. I think I'm more reasonable than most people because of that. I'm sort of like, well, you can have a different view than me, you're more than welcome to have your opinion on stuff. Yeah. I'd make a lot more money if I was incredibly overly critical of Star Citizen and faked rage or annoyance. And like, oh my god, look at this. But like, it just, I can't really do that. Zin's pretty critical of Star Citizen. She'll be working with me on my channel soon, so be interesting to see her on podcasts with me. Do you play in the first match or primarily watch the development cycle and do other stuff? Both. I play reasonable amounts, especially with new patch cycles and PDE builds. Sometimes I go for like a week without playing, but that's very rare. But I always keep up with the development and other people playing. I can't think of a week I haven't played, but certainly some weeks that I've only played like a couple of hours. In droughts, especially over the last few years. Any word on hiring NPCs to work on our ships? Will we hire them for one mission a month? Will we get the mission payout or just salary or part of the mission payout? We don't know yet, Rift. We literally don't know how that's going to work yet. Resistance question. Say you hoard a bunch of rare artifacts in your apartment, then get evicted. Do you have the rights to those objects, or is it just a case of bad luck? I suspect they will have sort of like lockers and things. So if you lose the rights to your factory or hangar or hab, there's almost certainly going to be here are your items. They've been delivered to they've been delivered to this address, or they've been delivered to this ship, or you can pick them up at this warehouse or something. Almost certainly. But obviously that they haven't got to the point where that's important yet. I suspect there'll be public cabs on a lot of areas as well. This is like more public areas, and maybe there'll be like public storage there. Going into the current patch, what would you recommend to try and do in the Aurora only? Do some missions around Crusader. So where you spawn around Port Olisar, just the planetary system there. You do want to go to Area 18, and you want to try and do the Twitch Pacheco mission that's there. That will get you a Cutlass Black to use for that mission as well. It goes into a drugs lab, and you've got to find a box, and you fight a load of people FPS style, and some other people might come along. You want to go to Lorville as well. It's going to take you 15 minutes to get to each of these planets. So when you're there, do a load of stuff around them. And you want to travel to all the moons and have a look at all the moons while you're there as well. But take some missions in those areas. And then one of the missions you want to do in Lorville is the down satellite mission from Clover Star Neely. That's a really interesting mission. Has you finding a satellite, and you have to find a little piece of hardware and and that sort of stuff. I do some criminal stuff as well, so there's a load of criminal missions now. There's a law system. You get fines and that sort of thing. There's new places you can hack down your criminal rating, so like security base Korea, but also on Hurston and on Waller. I think it's Waller. There is a underground bunkers, which have terminals you can hack down in. You do need to use a crypto key, which you can buy from various shops like Grimhex, Ruto's place, that allow you to hack. You want to do like a mixture of missions and stuff like that, really. But visiting Lawville and on Hurston and ArcCorp Area 18 and doing those missions, that's superb. Any words on co-op mission improvements? Yeah, so expect various multi-crew improvements from patch to patch, 3.8 being some good ones, I believe. And then hopefully we're getting mission sharing and some other bits and bobs by then as well. How is it the NPCs can interdict us from about 2 million kilometers away, but we can quantum travel after getting 30 kilometers away? I don't know. I don't know how it works. It needs to be balanced. It needs to be physicalized rather than sort of like... And the mechanics need to actually be working rather than just go, this ship's an interdiction ship. Are there any other mining ships planned, like the Prospector? So we know there's going to be some hand mining. You can be able to do with like either mining tools or the multi-tool or whatever. There's the Orion, which is a huge strip miner, just like giant. It's one of the largest ships in game. There might be some modules or drones that will enable you to mine as well, but the Prospector and the Orion are the two main ones we are aware of. What do you think will happen in the final persistent universe once Squadron 42 is released? Will your progress in Squadron 42 port into the persistent universe, like weapons and ships? What would you like to see happen? So they've talked about this before, previously. Obviously, Squadron 42 is set before the persistent universe, and some of that stuff will retroactively be added to your Star Citizen experience once you complete it in Squadron 42. There's not going to be a huge amount of like stuff that you take over directly from there, but it will be stuff like in a journal, and it will be opportunities to purchase the F8 Lightning heavy fighter. You'll be able to get reputation with some of the factions and particular NPCs, access to military gear, things like that. So progress from Squadron 42 does impact Star Citizen, but not like super directly related. Maybe you'll get some more like flair and stuff for your hangar and like badges and pins and things. What do you say about FTR saying you receive gifts such as high-end PCs from CIG to promote the game? Is this true? No, it's not true. And no one has any proof of that, because it's not true. I've not received any money from CIG, I've not received a computer. All my computers are bought by me, entirely by me. Other content creators did get some sort of deal with companies in conjunction with CIG to get a free computer. I was not part of that. I wasn't even asked to be part of that. I haven't gone to I haven't gone to like Gamescom or anything paid by them either. I've got this cup and this fucking saucer. That's the only thing I've accepted from CIG as a gift. The only thing. I have no, other than being NDA'd for either Carty builds and NDA'd for studio tours, I have no commitments to CIG. I can say and do what I fucking want. They pay me no money. They give me no ships. There is nothing. Anyone that says otherwise is a fucking liar or really fucking lazy. Just go, I just proved my narrative by saying some shit. So I'm pretty sure he doesn't say. I have watched a lot of FTR's videos. Pretty sure he doesn't say specifically that I got stuff from CIG. Otherwise, I'd potentially challenge that. Maybe I just leave it. I don't fucking know. But yeah, that is entirely incorrect. It really fucking annoys me as well, because I am pretty chill about that sort of stuff. I'm pretty good at not taking that sort of stuff. I have no problem with CIG giving me a fucking butt ton of money if they want to. I've thought about this. As long as I can fully disclose it. What's the problem if you can fully disclose it? Oh, you're a shill. Well, people think I'm a shill anyway. It doesn't matter. You can... I cover Star Citizen. I prefer not to take anything from them. I mean, it would impede if they had sort of like a content creators program or something, and they went, oh, we invite content creators around all the time and they get exclusives and stuff. That does make your ability to cover a game better and worse. It means you're not impartial anymore because you want to keep your partnership with them sweet, don't you? So for that reason, that's something I would actually have to consider thinking about it. Fucking hard. But I don't have to worry about that at the moment because I haven't got anything from them. A stupid fucking thing to say as well. People do say that. Oh my fucking god. Say I'm a shill. What? I'm a tiny YouTube channel. If they were going to shill, they'd get someone like Ninja or some fucker to play their game, and then billions of fucking kids would come play it. Ugh. BoredGamer has a very balanced view, in my opinion. That's why he's so good at it. Thank you very much, Flymo. I mean, it's a little bit kissing my ass, but I do love you. No, I'm joking. Thank you very much, Flymo. Very much appreciated. I do think, I mean, I'm very positive. I'm very, I do love the Star Citizen project. I love the community. I'm good friends with some of the devs, but I will cover it in my own way. And I don't have to be nice about it. I did think that last week's Inside Star Citizen was pretty shitty. I don't think they deserve 3 million a year. Well, they're not using that 3 million a year to make video content. There's no fucking way. BoredGamer is reasonably reasonable. I'm reasonably reasonable. I am. WCFsaurus got a $500 tip on his livestream one time from CIG when the game ShipCon was going on. Okay. I didn't know. I'm pretty sure that no CIG staff members are on my Patreon either, or anything like that. Pretty sure. The reason I say that is because like someone will dig up a $1 or a $5 Patreon from like Jay Lee or something. Go, haha, this is proof that he's a shill. Look at that teacup. Do you think size 3 weapons, size 3 guns, are the new size 1? Will they completely revamp the weapons? The weapons are going to constantly be rebalanced and tweaked. Yes. And then the way the power interacts with them as well. PG in the house. What do you think about the attritions? I think that some of the interesting guns, like the ones that get hotter and they deal more damage or fire faster or higher DPS, and that sort of stuff, I really like. I really like the idea of weapons with quirks. I think once we have loads of weapons and then they're balanced, that they'd be really cool. Thank you very much for the love. I appreciate it, Dcash. Is this actually going to be out? Star Citizen for years. I mean, they produce a major patch for it every 3 months. Mileage may vary on how good those patches are. But Squadron 42 Episode 1, which is their first product they'll be releasing, looks like it's going to be fully released potentially by the end of 2020 Q4. Although that's optimistic. But it's in the not too distant future. FDR is entirely entitled to his opinion. And I do watch his videos and a load of other videos from lots of different content creators, because that is sort of like what I've done on my channel. I like to keep apprised of what's going on. It's entitled to his opinion. He's entitled to his views. I don't think I've ever heard him say that I take things from CIG. I think he implies that sort of like more of a generalistic thing rather than specifically calling me out. It's, yeah, and one of the other things is I don't think other YouTubers go after other YouTubers and like do call outs and things like that for them. I mean, sometimes when it's egregious, maybe, but you know, not when it's clearly for clicks and views. I mean, it's the sort of weird trauma. You'll see channels do it all the time, sort of like be smug to each other and call each other out. I'll leave that to people that like drama more. What's your opinion and thoughts on the Nautilus? Price-wise, far too expensive. $675 for the war bond? Oh, that's insanely expensive, in my opinion. Something that I definitely want to get in game, though. I love the idea of a mine layer. I love the idea of a utility drone ship that also diffuses mines. Hopefully it can have some other roles and tasks assigned to it. Maybe some other gear. If they get some more mines in the future as well, that would be cool. Homing mines and the deployable turret mines, really fucking cool idea. The fact it's got some good support weapons, long range size 7 weapon on its nose, 2 size 3s on its wings. Yeah, it's going to be pretty tanky. It's going to be a great support ship. It's going to be a great fleet ship. Yeah, I love the idea of mine laying. What's degradation? Sorry, stuff degrading, stuff disappearing over time, stuff being removed from the server, despawning. Squadron 42 needs server-side object container streaming because your client PC, when you're playing a single-player game, is both the client and the server. So client-side object container streaming and server-side object container streaming effectively is one run by the client in a multiplayer game, and then one run by the server in a multiplayer game. But single player game, it's both the same PC, same system. What's your favorite ship that is flight ready? I mean, at the moment, really, it's probably the A90 because it's very cool. But I am full of hype. Some of the YouTubers that are aggro, though, I mean, that's their thing. They might be playing a bit of a character. They might be using it to prove points. They might be using it in the absence of sort of like coherent fact. I'm not saying that's always the case or whatever, but I'm saying that some stuff is characterized. Some stuff is, you know, what makes their channels popular or whatever. So taking away people being angry, or whether it's fake anger or whatever, or silly voices and that sort of stuff, might not be best to do that. You know, there are certainly some content creators I wouldn't watch for trying to get information from. Trying to get understanding of a situation from, or to watch it and go, well, that was a reasonable response. Be like, oh, I'm going to watch this content creator. I already know what he's going to say. He's going to hate on the game. He's going to hate it on every possible attack angle, even if they contradict each other. And he's going to use stuff as proof that clearly is not proof. But he's going to say it is. Don't know why. That was actually me referring to some political sort of stuff that I watch, but you can apply it to all situations. Hey, are you surprised by the size of the Nautilus? Yeah, I mean, it's bigger than the Hammerhead, and it's deeper as well. I think it's pretty cool. Do you think other ships should be able to be retrofitted with mines? Maybe smaller mines, in the same sort of like way you'd have them as torpedoes or as missiles, maybe? When do you think we'll see 3.9 on the roadmap? What? It is on the roadmap, it just needs to be updated. Do you think we can quantum jump through and destroy other ships like Admiral Holdo seen in the piece of trash movie The Last Jedi? I don't think you'll be destroying ships while you're quantum traveling. How are you finding the 890 jump so far? Any changes? It's cool. It hasn't got that much gameplay tied to it at the moment. It's going to be very sandboxy and mess around. Rather than as a mission running or VIP ship at the moment. Yeah, it's cool. It's a great technical achievement, and it's an amazing looking ship. I only brought up the carbon saucer today. Typically, it's a pride of place in my kitchen. Lies, Bored. I get paid $15,000 every month. Fuck me. I mean, why wouldn't you just disclose it? If you were getting paid a load of money, you're still making content. Disclose it. Why fucking not? Nice and fucking simple. I also don't understand why small content creators that are angry about the game or whatever, or people on Reddit or whatever, why they think that CIG would pay the tiny little bottom feeder YouTube channels like myself. I'm a very small channel, effectively. Why wouldn't they, you know, get big channels or really big popular channels to cover Star Citizen for positive stuff? Maybe it's because they don't do it at all. Dun dun dun. Not gonna go, oh, BoredGamer's got 10,000 subs. Let's give him some money so that he can increase his YouTube sort of stretch and range. Well, cultivating me for 4 years, were they? Fucking ridiculous. Yeah, please give me a PC. I'll disclose it, mate. Fucking top tier PC as well. The other thing is that obviously I get a reasonable amount of donations to the stream, which I can just see there now. Diggy Dark Gaming, have you heard any more details concerning how far along the Aegis Nautilus is? The only stuff I've heard is that the Concierge that went to the event said it looked like it was either very deep into its grey box phase or just leaving its grey box phase. It was just sort of like texturing that hadn't been done, but there was animations and there was huge amounts of the interior. The interior looks very similar to that of the Hammerhead, and that means they'll be using the Aegis kit dash for a huge amount of reusability. The pipeline for Aegis is obviously pretty fucking slick. So I would expect to see it pretty soon, to be honest, like middle of next year, as early as that. Best Squadron, thank you very much. Star Citizen 890J is the spirit of an 890 jump. Thank you very much for all the monies. Very much appreciated. Love your fucking faces. He's not troll, has some valid points, just a whiny voice. Yeah, I mean, people, even the man that should not be named, the Mr. DS, he has some very valid points sometimes. Sort of like, how do you hold Kickstarter projects accountable and things like that. So there have been, with some people that are considered trolls or whatever, they've had some valid criticism and valid points in the past. A lot of it is then mired by them also trolling, also having very invalid opinions, and also being very angry and being like, why aren't you listening to me? And like, I don't need people to listen to me. You can have your own opinions. You can have your own thoughts. Fucking good. Then we can discuss them, and I can make content from the discussions. What FTR was referencing was some streamers like Bandy's Baron and Saurus got an iBow branded PC paid for by iBuyPower and some other. I think Captain Rich got one as well from another company, not CIG. Yeah, it was in conjunction with CIG, I think. I was a little butthurt when lots of other people got PCs and I wasn't even offered one. I wasn't even offered one. I didn't even refuse it. I wasn't offered it. Also, fuck you, BoredGamer, for saying I'm a kiss ass. It's just your... it's true that you're honest and balanced. Thank you very much, Flyho. Sorry. I was in part of a rant. Bored, I just like your positive attitude and long videos. They may be ponderous and speculative at times, but I love it. I can leave them on while I work on software. Yeah, so I want to get a nice range of gameplay, long form, sort of like chatty chats, some speculative sort of theorycraft videos, but also very short, informative news ones, and some longer news ones as well. I want a nice range. I'm going to start to work to that range. Love your honest videos, Big Dark Gaming. I'll pirate you last in Star Citizen. Appreciate. FTR totally talks trash on board. Well, he's welcome to, I suppose. Just a shame he's incorrect about a lot of things. Bored, you're fair and impartial. Don't listen to the haters. It's alright. G told me, as soon as you've got haters, that's when you know you've made it. Okay, fair enough. Content creators can't can't control who gives them money. You can't accuse them of being bought off because a company donates them. No, but I think that if you were receiving hefty amounts of money from a company, it would impede your ability to, you know, remain neutral. When does the anniversary sale? When does the anniversary sale? Is it November? Yeah, November the 23rd is when it starts. And how long does it last? Probably a couple of weeks. Yeah, please don't think I'm always right with everything I say as well. So I'm relatively reasonable and neutral, I think. But I'm biased because I'm, you know, a human. I have my own wants, desires, and thoughts. I try to be as reasonable as possible and sort of like know that it's okay to be wrong. And it's okay to listen to other people's points of view. Doesn't necessarily mean that everyone else is going to believe them or they're right and you're wrong or whatever. There's typically, most things are in between, like a middle ground between a lot of ideas and ideals and opinions. Not all the time. Some people are just plain wrong. Major patches to huge overstorm, and yes, sometimes it is. I mean, people are more than welcome to clip me ranting if they want. But I will not be creating videos, or at least I'm not planning to ever create videos on YouTuber and content creator drama between the groups. For the same reason I didn't cover DS very much. They're entitled to their opinion. Oh, why have I got hair? Am I a scary Japanese girl? What is... What? I look like Samara from the... What is this? This is supposed to be an informative, serious stream. And you fucking put, I don't know, rock hair on me? I don't know what the fuck that shit is. Malcolm, thank you very much for the bits. Wait a minute, is 3.7 planned to come out next month? As far as I'm aware, 3.7 should be coming out at the end of September. Sorry if we all talked about it. No worries. Sorry for dropping in. I heard you like bits. Thank you very much. I do like bits. That's true. I fucking love money, mate. Wish CIG gave me more money. Oh, shit. The gig is up. No, so people are entitled to their opinions and stuff. And obviously some people are bad actors and some people are playing up to stuff. But, you know, it's what it is. I'd rather people see all people's points of views and see all these different people and what they want and let them explain themselves, and then those people can make up their own decisions after watching all that stuff. That's what I'd like. People have enough time to be able to look at every point of view and go, I'm going to make my own decision on this, and this is a reasonable one, or this is an informed one. How close do you think CIG is to development stall point due to not having server-side object container streaming working? A few more months? That is a good question. Sounds like that they were trying to get it into 3.8, which is apparently a genuine possibility, and if not, it will be pushed back into 2020, and I'm assuming Q1 of 2020. So I'd hope to see server-side object container streaming in Q1 2020 with 3.9, but I suppose that's not a confirmation of it. I would be disappointed if it doesn't get in there soon after. What is the title of the song playing right now? I'll link you the list. That playlist. So this is all from Chiff Monkey. Mostly it is Pedro Camacho's music and soundtrack from Star Citizen. Some of it is Jeff Sinelli's Squadron 42 soundtrack. Very, very good pieces. I love Pedro. I love Pedro so much. Jeff Sinelli's very good as well, admittedly, but I've got a lot of love for Pedro. I think he's a good chap. got into an argument with STI. He said, you got a computer from CIG. That is false. You're a loser that lives with his mummy. Occasionally my parents live with me. I care for my brother and stuff. I'm a loser. That's true. No worries. Well, he's entitled to his opinions. I help out my family. I have loyalty to my family and my father, who currently is recovering from cancer. So, I mean, I played the cancer card. Bam! Have some of that, mate. Fuck you. How about that? Play the fuck you card. Do you believe the Nautilus will be in game within the next 12 months? Yes. I think that's a possibility. I mean, it's really dependent. Is the thing, Lexicon is it needed for Squadron 42? How far is it already? Do they have time to do it? Are they going to be focusing on ships on the Aegis pipeline? If yes, then yes. If most of those are true, then yes. But it's possible that it just pauses work and they just move on to just doing the batting merchantman and some other ships, or they move on to other ships. They do reprioritize stuff quite often. Like, that's one of the reasons I wish they were more communicative with the roadmaps and with their schedules and with their plans for all that sort of stuff. Do you think the FPS combat needs to be good? Yes. For Squadron 42 and then for the persistent universe. But yes, it does. At the moment, it's not great in the PU. But it works. It's just not good. In the last weeks, Inside Star Citizen QA team did have a short sequence where they were testing caving. Do you think this hints caving might be in CitizenCon? Potentially. I do expect to see some interesting procedural planet tech shown off over the next few months, next few quarters. And one of those things I do think they will get caving in not too long. You're here to join the BoredGamer org, are you, Montoya? Yeah, fuck it, you can come in. Need to do some stuff with Test at some point, actually. Get some happily chill for your org. What's the latest on medical roles? We haven't had anything new that they've talked about on medical for a long time. Do you think there will be VR support for Star Citizen in the future? Yep. Next gen VR, most certainly. They need basically they need Vulkan integration first, which is something they are working towards now, as far as I'm aware. I suspect we'll see VR in Squadron 42 well before we see it in Star Citizen. What a naughty instead of buying it in game. Help me. Teeny, do you think we can use the mines defensively in lawful areas without being flagged as an outlaw? So, if you read some of the brochure and the law, it sounds like the idea is to that there is like a disarmament sort of like initiative for mines that they want to get rid of. So I suspect that mines will be breaking the law in some systems and in some areas. Much more useful and used in sort of like the lower sec, zero sec space where there's no UEE. Has there been any word on future ship insurance systems? We'll be able to update the policy to include new components. I believe that's the idea with insurance. You'll be able to insure components and weapons on your ship in the future. There'll be various types. Is the naughty in Squadron 42 episode 1? So they implied that the Nautilus is at the 2949 version of the Nautilus. So potentially there's an earlier version that's used in Squadron 42. All that has been sort of like confirmed for Squadron 42 is there's plans for mines in it. Do you think we should push for a return of Around the Verse? Not necessarily. I think that what we should see is Inside Star Citizen being covering interesting things that are happening for the project with the next patch that's coming out. So 3.7 in this case. It should be focused on 3.7, and then when 3.7 comes out, it should be focused on 3.8. They shouldn't have a 3-week break, maybe a week break or a 2-week break at most from after they've had their shows. And it should be news, interesting things that are happening, some future stuff that's coming out, looking at, I don't care if it's art or ships or whatever for those new patch cycles, but that's what they should be showing and telling us about the news. So yeah, basically a very short form around the verse is what I want to see. Then I also want to see the original elements of around the verse. So the sort of like deeper dives, the ship shapes, looking at individual gameplay mechanics, looking at concepts or whatever, all these different features in their own separate long videos, just whenever they fall. So try and get one of those sort of things out a week in addition to Inside Star Citizen. And I'd also quite like to see Calling All Devs return. I'm sure the John Luke champagne on the 890 jump. What have you done? I've got a mega cheer emote. Thank you. I don't know what this is. Send my thanks. So love, next time Chris Roberts comes and delivers a top tier computer to your door, can you ask him about the Apollo when its estimated releases? Yeah, so I've got some medical questions for when I next go on a studio tour / CitizenCon, and I will start to compile a questions list together. I will prefer questions from my VIPs that are people that are subscribers, that are YouTube members, Patreons, donators, people that have twitched, but I also take it from the wider community as well. There's not going to be a huge barrier to entry on that shit. If you've got a good question, I will ask it. It's better content for me. I'm going to go pretty soon because I'm thirsty and hungry. Do you think with all the Banu Defender updates we might hear some news on the Merchantman? Yes, when the Defender comes out, I suspect we'll hear a bit more on the Merchantman. Let's power through this stuff. I'm doing fine, thank you very much. Hey, if you're famous enough to have haters, I count you as a win. Just remember, Monkey, you are a moderately successful YouTuber. Thank you very much, Alfred. Perfectly well said. Do you think the Naughty will be nicer, more updated than the Hammerhead with its interior? I think it will be very similar, with an extra deck. So there's going to be more stuff inside. Might be slightly more luxurious, like a larger common area and things like that. Do you think there will be a Crusader special at 3.9? Thoughts? It depends if they've got server-side object container streaming ready by then. But yes, I would expect to start to see 3.8 and 3.9 showing off the new planets. Crusader Industries appears to currently be the most favoured ship brand in Spectrum. Do you think CitizenCon will see a $800 larger ship from that brand? Keep being you bored. I don't know. I need to think about what's likely to be shown ship-wise. Sort of like what concepts and straight-to-flyable we might get. Because I would expect to see stuff that's wanted for Squadron 42 coming out in the next few months. Will I be able to smash Alien? Wow. I don't believe so. Unless you're talking about getting a pet cat. In which case, I don't believe so. More like Shill Gamer. Oh my god. Informed decisions, do you make them, motherfucker? Wow. More like Bort Gamer, am I right? Oh my god. This, I'm sorry that I'm so behind in the chat, but these were good. With the new release of the ship, are you worried about CIG now having to develop mine mechanics, possibly postponing quicker completion? No? That's something they can work on? It's not mutually exclusive to the other stuff? They're focusing on Squadron 42 at the moment, which means they're focusing on the core of the game. After that's out, they're focusing on, well, at the same time, they're focusing on server meshing, server-side object container streaming, and the rest of the core of Star Citizen's persistent universe. After that, then it's just lots and lots and lots of different gameplay mechanics. Do you think the Nautilus will... should I upgrade my Cutlass Black to a Freelancer Max? No. Stay with the Cutlass Black, in my opinion, until you've actually tested the others out. How do you think the Nautilus will perform outside of mine gameplay? For instance, straight combat or even as a cap hunter with its size 7 guns? I wouldn't use its size 7 guns as a cap hunter, but to support a fleet battle or other ships, yes. It's going to have long-range guns, which are going to be good against some other ships. Do you think the size 7 guns on the Nautilus make it more offensive than people are giving it credit for? I think it's going to be a very heavy-hitting support ship. But I don't think it wants to, like, it doesn't want to go toe-to-toe with even a Hammerhead. Will it be possible to make the M50 as stealthy as the Rosa EX? Yeah, you'll be able to switch components around on it and then manage your systems to have very, very good stealth. It's because, patient mental, I am a straight up dude. It's all I fucking got, mate, isn't it? Don't really get embarrassed about stuff much, and I think I'm pretty honest. Why not be? A deeply flawed person. I'm bipolar. I'm pretty erratic with some stuff. But, you know, I'm fucking human. Got a reasonably successful YouTube channel. Love the community. Love what I do. Do you think the... what do you think the ownership's going to be for the Nautilus? The Hammerhead, almost certainly. Don't know that for a fact, but I'm expecting it to be. But there's no cloud tech on release schedule and you're under NDA. Can you say anything about that? Cloud tech actually breaks up into lots of different things. There's the cloud tech they're using, which is, I believe, finished or almost finished for Nebula, that they're using for like the coil in Squadron 42. There's cloud tech, which is different for gas giants, so gas giant tech, which they're using for Crusader, which is planned to be done for 3.9, if not already done now or near to completion. And then there's dynamic weather tech, which is going to have clouds in it, but they're different. And then there's fog tech, which is different from that. So there's all different types of tech. I'm under NDA for office tours and things I see on office tours, and for stuff I see in Evocadi, but nothing more than that. I don't know anything more than that, unfortunately, at the moment. All stuff that's slightly different tech or sidesteps the same tech or whatever, but they are all separate bits they're working on. I know that dynamic weather, for example, has been worked on by a single dude, on and off. Squadron 42 is, it's not open world. It is linear gameplay. It is narrative-driven storyline in a huge universe, a huge world. But I wouldn't refer to it as open world. You're in the military, you're on a capital ship for some of it, then you're flying around systems. You do have jobs and missions to do. If you go too far off your mission, I'm assuming the game will end or something will happen. Do you think Star Citizen will look like the video you're showing in the background at the end of the year? I think Star Citizen already looks a bit better than this in a lot of situations. I think Squadron 42 is going to look a lot better than this as well when it comes out. This is a while ago. Last year, you let us post questions on the Discord to ask when you go to an event. Are you going to do that again? Yes. But I'll also post it up on more places. There's nothing new I've heard on the Polaris yet. And the Hammerhead take a naughty in our 1v1 fight. I think that these sort of ships, when you're talking about those two fighting, is the Hammerhead has higher DPS and firepower and is much more a combat ship for that sort of purpose. The Nautilus does have some big guns. The Nautilus is much more tanky and has much more powerful shields and much more armor, it seems, than the Hammerhead. I think it's the sort of ships that just repel each other. They go, you fight, the other one retreats. I think the Nautilus might even be faster than the Hammerhead as well, oddly. If they're 1v1 and they're forced to fight, I would expect, if there's no mines being deployed, that I think the Hammerhead will probably win. They're forced to fight and can't escape from each other. But I suspect the battle would be quite long. Do you think Cloud Imperium will reach 500 million before Persistent Universe releases? If you're including Squadron 42 sales, yes. Easily. Why would server-side object container streaming be needed for a single player game? So server-side object container streaming is core to the way that In the persistent universe, you've got client-side object container streaming, which is the client, us. And you've got server-side object container streaming, which is sort of used by the server, but also a bit by the client as well. In a single-player game, the server and the client are effectively the same PC, so their tech is tied into that. It will still want to stand by certain areas of the game because there's going to be loads of side missions, there's a huge open universe, huge open areas of space, and they want them to be as highly detailed as possible, and it's similar tech, it's the same tech, it's part of the same tech. Maybe they won't be using all of server-side object container streaming, but they'll use some of it. It's tied together. Art, why aren't you more critical of SIG? I am pretty critical of SIG sometimes when I feel like it. Same question I've been asked early. Server-side object container streaming is extremely important to make the persistent universe feel not empty. I mean, it's 100% needed to make the game a multiplayer MMO game of any description, of any size. They've been pushing it back and back, and nobody, you Nobifiers, say anything. I say it quite a bit. What? Do you even watch my videos? Talk about this shit all the time. Server-side object container streaming is obviously essential for the game. We need it. They want it for 3.8 this year. It might get pushed back to 3.9. It's essential. What more do you want me to say? We need it sooner. Well, that's not going to make it sooner. I want it sooner. It's, How many resources can you extract from bodies that you can use right now? What? What? Are you happy with the weapons loadout for the 890 jump? I mean, it's going to need balance. The thing is that I don't really mind about any ship's weapons loadouts, really, at the moment, because it's going to be balanced and it's going to change so much. Do you think there will be multi-day battles with persistence and higher player caps, especially around land claims? Yes. There's going to be lots and lots and lots of fighting over resources and land claims and stuff, 100%. Well, maybe not land claims, but bases. I think around land claims that will be in UEE territory, so less fighting will happen, but in sort of like areas where there's no UEE law, and there's going to be lots of people fighting over valuable things. Bored with the release of the Naut, should CIG be paying attention to the amount of community backlash from other concept ships being stacked onto the piling list of concepts? They are getting ships out more than they're releasing them. They're getting ships out more than they're having concept ships stacked on top of each other. I mean, that's demonstrably true. Are there lots of people that are angry about certain things? I mean, there's some ships they're going to take a long while to get in, like the Endeavour, the Abandoned Merchantman, things like that. I mean, hopefully we'll have the Abandoned Merchantman end of next year. That's what I'd like to see. I think that CIG, whatever's said, is they're going to continue to release a concept ship every 6 to 8 weeks. I think that's just their model. Doesn't really matter what the community says about all that, because they need to fund the game in the short term. When Squadron 42's out, it's a slightly different matter, but I still think they'll do it. That's sort of like the reality of the situation. I don't think that many people are angry about them doing that now. Prioritization-wise of concept ships, yeah, I can see some people being annoyed, and reasonably so, yeah. They are getting more and more people that can actually make spaceships implement them, and that's what one of the quite a few of the job listings are there for that kind of artist and modeler. So, question: eat your cookie, maybe with a bit of soy reduction, sugar milk. We'll keep you here all day with questions and sneaky peekies. Otherwise, oh, I will go in a minute. Don't worry. Do you think we're having a combat Anvil capital ship for November? Maybe. I mean, if they do another capital ship, then I hope we're not going to see more capital ships for a while. Like extra ones. What's your favourite weapon right now? I don't know. I don't really have favourite weapons. Board listens to me. We've got 30 plus concept ships at the moment. Okay. Based on the fact you can have multiple crew on the NH jump, how can more than 2 possibly be in the system at one time? Will 2 ships be only allowed in one part of... What? What? I listen to you, Heavy Bob. You're entitled to your opinions and stuff. Fucking go for it, mate. Can we own rest stops or business places? They haven't confirmed that yet. One of the stretch goals was that there were going to be player-managed stations, so maybe in the future there might be ones to capture or hold or whatever, or build. There are going to be abandoned stations and automated stations, so maybe people will be able to do stuff like that. Right, any other questions? Will there be customizable underpants in Star Citizen? I would actually expect there to be, for the boxer shorts and bras that men and women wear. Yeah. If people want me to definitely see their questions, put question in brackets. I'm much more likely to see that you've asked a question. But question in brackets before typing a question. Otherwise, I might not see your question. Cut my arm off for you. Yeah. Only the likes of me that BoredGamer tends to ignore. Yeah, that's right, Captain Cole. What happened to the Crucible? Merchantman, Polaris, Apollo. So the Merchantman and Polaris are probably being worked on to some degree. I mean, it's just the Bounty Defender first, then the Merchantman. Hull A, B, D, and E. After the C comes out, I do expect we will see the A and B pretty quickly afterwards. Redeemer, obviously being reworked. Endeavour is going to be out for a while later. The Hercules, Starlifter, after the Mercury is done, then they're going to start working on that. The Prowler's coming out in 3.8. The Orion, it's fucking huge. That's going to be a while. Genesis, yeah, I miss where the Genesis is as well. The Pioneer, again, that's a big one for outpost deploying. That's going to be a while. SRV, we need tractor beams first. 100 series, that's actually probably coming next year. X1, I don't know with the X1s. The Ranger, again, I suspect next year. Idris M, P, Squadron 42. I mean, I'm pretty sure that them and the Javelin are ready. The Kraken. I don't know. I'd like to see the Kraken as soon as possible. Santok Ki, again, alien ship. They're going to want that in the game at some point, but I doubt it's a high priority. Corsair. I don't know with the Corsair at all. Not hard for them to put direct ships in though. The pipeline's pretty refined. Vulcan and every other ship that you've sold. But I haven't sold it. I haven't sold them. That you've sold. I mean, you're connecting dots whether or not there. I'm not. I don't make the money. It's actually my game. Star Citizen's my game. It's not Chris Roberts. It was me. Do you have a financial relationship with CIG? Nope. Or any kind of relationship, either by receiving gifts like PCs? Nope. Free ships? Nope. Giveaways? Nope. Etc. Nope. I'm friends with a couple of them. Cameron, with one of their sort of like office managers. He used to be the events manager there. I'm friends with. I play games with. I don't ask him anything about Star Citizen, and we respect that from each other. He plays 7 Days to Die a lot, and that's what we sort of like play together. We play board games and things. Asking for legal reasons for advertising. I don't have any relationship with CIG beyond I go to office tours. I'm an Evocati member, and they haven't given me anything financial incentives, gifts, or giveaways or otherwise that I have not clearly defined. Like this cup, which was given to me. And saucer. I do believe that other other streamers, not YouTubers, have been were part of a incentive where they got PCs built for them for Star Citizen by other companies or something, but I was not part of that. I didn't even get offered that. When will they add a share mission feature when playing with a party? They're working on that at the moment. I'm hoping for 3.7, more likely for 3.8. It's not confirmed though. That is incredibly important. Mission sharing and better mission and multi-crew features. PogChamp, does the cup come with lifetime insurance? No, it does not. If I lose that or smash that cup, I don't believe I can get another one. I have to ask Post, the CIG sort of like lawyer guy, if I could have a limited license to produce some of these myself if I lost this one. Wildlife in game is a planned thing. I'm hoping we have that shown off at CitizenCon. That's what I'm expecting this year. Do you feel all the features need to be in the game at launch? No. Not all the ones they've mentioned. The game needs to be stable, fun, have full persistence, have progression. Those new features need to not break anything when they add them. But yeah, they don't need to have all of the features in the persistent universe at launch. That would be madness. Just the ones they originally said. According to you, when will the Orion be in game? I wouldn't expect to see the Orion in game until end of 2021 sort of thing. Like it's a big fucking ship. When you run your head, is it like a smooth glass bowl? No. Like I'm rubbing a beluga whale. Panning it. There's no progress on the Crusader ships we're aware of. I suspect we will see some stuff on the Mercury at the end of this year, and they're planning to start to work on that, I believe, at the end of this year, and then it will be the other Crusader ships after the Mercury. It's the Mercury, then the Hercules. Oh, I got a Javelin from referrals as well, didn't I? So I have over 2,000 referrals. So I did get a Javelin, Alfred. I know you were doing a joke there, but that is true. I did get a Javelin from referrals. But that was people clicking on my links. And you could certainly say he was incentivized to get people to click on his link. Shills everywhere, but board is not one. Not currently. Not currently a shill. If I am a shill for anything, I will tell you. I'm a shill for Shadow. Genuinely like Shadow's product. I'm a shill for NordVPN. I want you to click on those links and buy NordVPN. I'm happily going to shill for Game Glass at the moment as well, because they make a fucking great product. I like those products that they make, and they make me money by you clicking on the links and using the BoredGamer code. Boom! After they lied about client-side object container streaming improving the game framerate. What? There was massive improvements. What? I went from 30 frames to 120. What are you talking about, Art? What? Sorry, I can't take you seriously now. You've sabotaged yourself. I think they lied about client-side object container streaming improving the frame rates, did you? I think that was a lie. Any knowledge on a public toolkit? Are you talking about for APIs and grabbing data and making mobiGlass apps and things like that? We know they want to have mods in the future. That's still the plan. They roughly said there was going to be it's going to be private servers as well. They didn't roughly say that. They said they were going to be that as well in the future. So hopefully that's still the plan. Sorry, I just reading some chat. Is the Nautilus the answer to the Drake Kraken? So like that was some of the media that the Aegis had done. Although I think the Drake Kraken can probably scan them down. Oh. Hopefully that piece of music was not not copyrighted that I just randomly played. Whoops. Started playing a random other playlist. It'll be fine. I'm sure it was fine. Right, I am going to dash off and go for food though. So I love your faces. Take care, guys. I'll grab the rest of these questions and use them at the beginning of my next stream. Told you lies. You get free javelins. It was all lies. It was all fucking lies, mate. Right. I am going to dash off. But I love you. Yeah, it got too hot for me, mate. I could not handle the heat. Did Matadors scam me? No, I'm still friends with Aventador and people. Matadors are good people. Well, I mean, they're naughty. Some of them are probably little fuckers. You know, people want to play the games their own way, and some of them, are a bit childish. Some of them are a bit dickheads. Some of them are good, and some people just, are just edgy boys. I'm okay with the Matadors. I mean, I think they're naughty sometimes, but I'm pretty chill. I'm pretty chill with stuff like that. They were lying about the improvements. What? I mean, they literally weren't. Right. But I am going... I'm not going to be having this argument when it's demonstrably true that object container streaming improved frame rates for most people significantly. I mean, they've even got the... you can see a lot of the stuff and improvements now on the telemetry reports. But love you guys. That's not an opinion. That's fact. That is fact. I am going to go and host someone else though. Who do you want on? They're all French. Let's give Detox some love because he's smart. He's smart. I am going to... Yeah, 3.3, they split object container streaming into another part of it, didn't they? One of the reasons we got Hurston a bit later, which was a shame. Right, we're going to give Thingamajig some love. That's the one. Detox. Bam. I am going to bid you adieu. Peace out, guys. Thank you very much for watching me today. Very much appreciated. Thank you for all the bits. Thank you for all the donations. Thank you for all the love. And thank you for all the stimulating conversation, whether or not you agree with, that I'm a shill or not or something. It was very much appreciated. You guys take care. Keep being cool, and I hope to see you in the next one, whoever you are. Let's do this. Bam, bam, bam. TV. Bam.